Okay, welcome. Just finished up a nice push day here at the gym. So right now I'm just sitting here eating my post-workout cream of rice. I'm gonna fill up with some rice cakes because I don't have enough cream of rice left. But that's not the topic. I will do a little voiceover now, just kind of going over this chest day, how it went, and I'm gonna be eating while I go over this. So if that triggers you, then my bad. But that's what I'm gonna do. So basically, my push days, I always start off with the chest. I don't do shoulders first. I always start out with the chest. I feel like that makes the most sense. And also looking at my body, I think it makes the most sense in that case as well. So did the incline press um, on the Smith machine. One of the all-time favorite chest exercises. It really doesn't get better than that. There's a lot of good machines at the gym that I go to, like you're gonna see. I mean, they've got everything. They got Nautilus, they got Prime, they got all the good machinery in there, but I just feel like nothing beats a Smith machine incline press. That's just one of those meathead exercises that just never will get old. So that's what I did. Yeah, worked my way up to 140 kg on that. Actually, I don't know how heavy the bar is, so but 3 plates on each side. And I haven't done this exercise in a long time, so I wasn't sure how much weight to use, but I did 3 plates because I'm feeling strong. And obviously, right now we're really into a growth phase, so I'm pushing a lot of food right now, and I'm getting stronger really quickly at the moment. So that's something that I just feel like I go into the exercise and I feel it out, and then usually I can always use more weight than I did last time because it's at the moment it's just growing rapidly. So we did 3 plates, did I think 6 reps on that with a spotter. Now the spotter didn't really do a lot of work; it was just there for safety purposes. So I did the 3 plates for 6, and then I did 2.5 plates for 11, I believe. So that was pretty good. Good feeling. Tried to go a little bit more explosive on these reps. I feel like that in the beginning of the exercises or of the workout, when you're really strong, doing some explosive, but obviously still keeping the tension on the intended muscle. That's always number one priority. Pushing as heavy as possible. So I really want to use as much weight as I can. And if I'm not sure, I'm deciding between two weights, I'll usually pick the higher one and just go for it. That's the phase I'm in right now. But always keeping the tension on the muscle itself. Afterwards, we did a Nautilus press. I think it's a Nautilus Explode, is what it's called. I'm not sure. Fantastic chest press. Comes in the middle, so starts a little bit wider, and then you go together in the middle at the end of the rep. Is crazy, crazy feeling in the chest. Did the first set, did a little bit more reps than I was thinking I would do. So I upped the weight slightly on the second set. And I think on the second set, I got whatever, 6 reps or something. Pretty heavy, but that what feels really good on that exercise for me is really heavy. Went over to a decline press. This is a Panada decline press, plate loaded. 4 plates on that. Chest was already a little bit tired at this point, but still was able to push 4 plates. Did whatever 9 reps or something with a short stop at the bottom, and then also at the end of it, partials. Just really at the end of most sets, I try to do some partials. A lot of people will say that's too much fatigue, but I just feel that. I think that's what grows muscle. So some length and partials at the end, and then went over to the butterfly machine, which was able to do the whole stack on that, or I shouldn't say be able, because that machine isn't heavy enough. A lot of these butterfly machines are not heavy enough. I don't know what the manufacturer thinks when he builds these weight stacks, but I did full stack and I did whatever 8 or 9 reps, and I was already fatigued, and I'm not the strongest guy out there either. So I don't know what really strong people would do on this machine. Maybe put some plates on there, but it's not the best construction, but it worked for me. So did some of that, and also just 2 sets on that. So each exercise 2 sets. I should probably mention that, and then stretching at the end. So I do like to get some blood flow in at the end of each. Kind of like a Dante Trudel DC training principle, I guess you could say. So at the end of not each exercise, but each muscle group. I like to do a pretty heavy loaded stretch for as long as I can. That's painful, but in my experience, definitely effective and also good for injury prevention because it really lengthens out the muscle at the end of it and you don't need to do separate mobility training. So did that, uh, painful, but insane pump after that as well. So really getting the nutrients into the muscle where I want them to be, and I feel like that's definitely something that's effective. Uh, it's not just about weight and progressive overload; it's also about blood flow and getting the nutrients where they need to go. The general position that I'm in right now, concluded the post-show recovery phase. Now we're already up 6 kilos since then. So post-recovery was 110 kilos, stage weight was 101, and now we're up 100 at 116, 117. So already up 6 to 7 kilos since starting the real off season. Did a big calorie bump to 6,000 calories more or less now. Also increased the other factors, so that's why the jump in weight. A lot of that is water retention. The look that I have right now is not as shredded as I was probably 3 weeks ago, but I'm much fuller, bigger, rounder. The pumps are insane. The feeling in the muscle is really good. So I'm really feeling good in this phase that I'm in right now. Really progressing. I mean, Jesus, the size is coming on, the strength is coming on, everything is working out real well in that sense. And I'm just not as shredded anymore. I'm holding a lot more water. I've also obviously gained a little bit of body fat, not too much yet, in the range, I would say. So really happy with the way that's going right now. So then we went over to shoulders, did the side raises on the cable bilaterally. On the cables, I like doing it this way behind the body. Relatively heavy weight. I think I did like 9 or 10 reps or something on the first set. Did 3 sets here, also with partials at the end. Really, burn out the shoulders. Shoulders are one of those muscle groups for me that I just connect with really well. That I get crazy pumps in, and that grow pretty easily, I would say, for me. So shoulders is not something I need to worry about a lot. But yeah, that's what we did. The side raises, 3 sets there. 2 sets of shoulder presses afterwards, which is something that I need to reconsider because after doing all that pressing work and also this, especially the side raises, my shoulders are so burnt out that in the shoulder pressing, I'm not really able to push any more decent weight. It's really, I have to go really light, but I still do it. I do 2 sets, but I might have to reconsider restructuring the training in a way that I can do my shoulder presses earlier in the workout and that way just be able to push a little bit more weight. But as I said, for shoulder growth, it's not necessary for me. My shoulders grow just fine the way I do it, but I might have to reconsider that. So 2 sets of that, and then went over to biceps. So I'm basically doing, my push days, I do biceps at the end, and my pull days, I do triceps. Doing that just in order to really grow my arms. Obviously, if you're doing a pull day, your biceps is already fatigued, then you go into biceps work, you're going to be able to output much less than if you just switch those around. So that's the reasoning behind that. I feel much stronger in my bicep after push day than after pull day, and vice versa when I'm doing my pull day and the triceps. 3 sets on the Scott curl, also relatively heavy. Biceps, another one of those muscle groups for me that just grows. I get crazy connection, crazy pumps. I don't need to worry too much about what I do for biceps, but I just do relatively heavy weight on the Scott bench there. 3 sets unilaterally, and then went over to something that I feel like is really underrated, and not a lot of people do that nowadays. But that's the incline curl on a bench with dumbbells, stretching out the biceps. I mean, you really lengthen out the biceps in this exercise. I feel like it's fantastic for the long head of the biceps to get the peak a little bit more, stretching out the pec and the front shoulder a little bit as well. I think it just helps for posture and stuff like that as well. So, fantastic exercise. 2 sets of that. So, in general, or in total, I did 5 sets of biceps and then just went on to do some abs. This is something that obviously nobody likes doing abs. I hate doing abs, but my therapist put me on to do obliques especially. So I'm not really doing Just the regular ab training. I'm doing more oblique training at the moment because I have a pretty pronounced disbalance between my right and my left side in my whole body, basically, in my legs, also my shoulder, because everything revolves around the core, right? And my pelvis is not 100% balanced. So basically, my right side is too weak and too tightened. Basically, my right oblique, I need to strengthen my right oblique and my right glute medius as well. So those two, the oblique and the glute medius, are extremely important to make sure that you're balanced out in the pelvis and that your body is straight, basically. That you can also do your leg, your squats, your leg presses in a good way. I was always struggling with that. I was always shifting my hip when I was doing squats. That's why my right leg had a disbalance as well. So really, my therapist put me on to training my obliques and my glute medius. And so far, I've already seen some improvement in my shoulder girdle. So in my back poses, I can already see my right and my left side being more equal. Whereas before, my right shoulder was always hitched up more than my left shoulder. So it's already working, but just did 2 sets here. Obviously, that's what I have to do, 2 sets of those obliques, and that was it for the workout. I think I took about probably an hour 45, so it's not a really short workout, but nonetheless, that was the workout. I got 7 meals at the moment in a training day, so I really have to get home now and get back on those meals because 7 meals and 6,000 calories on a training day is not easy to get in. It's something that I really have to push myself. So we're doing that. But other than that, everything is going fantastic. Like I said, growing, enjoying this phase a lot. I'm just really having fun right now. Growing, eating, getting great pumps, and just obviously the mood is great. Energy levels are great, sex drive, so libido is great. Everything is just much better than it was in prep, obviously. Just the look is softer, but that's what comes with bulk. Nobody grows when they're comfortable. I feel like that's something that in a lot of ways applies in life. In order to grow, most of the time you're going to have to be uncomfortable. And in this case, that means eating a lot to the point where you're not hungry, training to the point where you're fucking dying, and also just gaining a lot of body weight, not body fat, but just gaining weight, gaining some water weight, gaining a little bit of body fat as well, and just getting big, and it gets uncomfortable because the muscles start getting really tight, and moving around in everyday life gets a little bit more exhausting, but that's how we do, and that's how we're gonna grow. And now my phone is falling off of this fucking thing, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. Hope you enjoyed that. See you later.